Alright, shalom, shalom. Shema. I want to start by, of course, giving our honor, praise, and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Kakadash. Double honor to the elder apostle, Curry Most on we will teach well even up to this day. Because I kept on to you, brother, this will, you sisters might be tuning in, listening, and learning. And just getting right into it. Got an article from RT News. It says, Global Energy Watchdog warns against Russian sanctions. It says the crisis will have huge consequences for the global economy. It says Western sanctions against Russia and Moscow's retaliatory measures will have big implications for global energy market. Uh, it says executive director of International Energy Agency said in Vienna on Friday, "I believe that we are in the middle of the first global energy crisis. In the 70s, we saw the oil crisis, which had great consequences for the economy and inflation. But then, it was only oil," he said. He said, "Let's remember that Russia is the world's #1 oil and natural gas exporter, as well as major player in the market for materials used by energy sector," Biro added. It says, "Therefore, the sanctions that were imposed on Russia or political decisions from the Kremlin have and will have great consequences for the energy market." It says, according to Biro, it would be too optimistic to believe that the current volatility in the energy market could end soon, and that the world could return to times of low prices and stable market conditions. It says, according to Biro, it would be too optimistic, right, to believe that the current volatility in the energy market, you saw in his words, volatility, which means like the current state of how the flow of the market is going, like the scriptures say, victuals being so good, cheap, everything is, to a certain extent cheap, which we see the prices going up. But it says, and the energy market could end soon, right? Alright, so that stability in the market, he's saying that it pretty much can end soon, and that the world could return to times of low prices and stable. It says, and the world could return to time. So he pretty much saying that he don't see, a stable market condition, being, the future of what's about to happen to these, various kingdoms, which, that's in the scriptures. It's prophesied, that prices like that would be on high. First, I'm gonna get this in the book of Amos, chapter 8 and verse 4, because who's in control of these prices first and foremost? Like, well, ultimately Yahweh Shah, but this fiat currency, which is the Federal Reserve, This book of Amos, chapter 8 and verse 4. "Hear this, O ye that shall swallow up the needy, even to make the poor of the land to fail, saying, when will the new moon be gone?" Right? Which, the new moon being in Shabbat, pretty much saying, when will rest be gone? Because all they want to do is work you. Oppression, work you until and don't even care if you can take it or not. Just overworking on this kingdom, for ill-gotten gain. That's how it's always been. It says, saying, then when will the new moon be gone, that we may sell corn? Right. So it's like, they want the Shabbat day to hurry up just so they can, feed their own belly. That's how Esau is in his spirit. you know, and he always been like that, you know. It's Cain, you know, the serpent says, saying, when will the new moon be gone, that we may sell corn, and the Sabbath, that we may set forth wheat, making the ephah small and the shekel great. But that's why in the ancient times the Sabbath day was very important, you know, and it was much needed because it would balance out, you know, everything, the currency of how much, you know, crop would cost and it would balance out everything. But now, you know, Esau, I mean, you know, the Sabbath day, nobody really goes by it, so everything is just off balance, you know. It's saying when will the new moon be gone, and that we may sell corn, and the Sabbath or the Shabbat, that we may set forth wheat, making the evil small and the shekel great. And you see that today, you know, you pay a lot amount of the shekel for something that's not even worth the price, you know. Especially now that inflation is on the rise, you know, you pay a lot. We're starting to pay a lot more for something that's actually not even worth, you know. But it says that we may set forth wheat, making the ephah small and the shekel great, and falsifying the balances by deceit. Um, this is book of 2 Kings, chapter 6 and verse 25. Right, because you know, all these sanctions and everything is gonna lead to a great famine. You know, it's gonna lead to resources being like detrimental to survive. Like right now, everything is convenient to still to a certain extent. Like you can still, you know, just do what you would like to do and that'll please you. And you have the liberty to get up in the morning, go in the refrigerator, and just grab whatever, you know, pleases your flesh. You know, even when you're not really hungry, you know, you can just go to, you know, the store, like, you know, a fast food restaurant, and you know, things like that. But it says but you know, we know, just like you mentioned, like because when you go to Archie News, like a lot of these guys, Esau be having them like, and they be older, and they didn't study like war, how the results of war go, you know, that happened before, like the first war and the second war. Those have been studied, you know, and which pretty much, you know, these guys, they see the same pattern, you know, coming in these times that we coming into, because it's gonna be another war. Matter of fact, before I get that, it's like it. I don't mean to be all over the place, but this book of Revelation, chapter 11, verse 14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe coming quickly. So yeah, it's gonna be a third woe, and we seeing the same. It's gonna be the same patterns that what happened during the first and second war. The economy was not only, you know, the soldiers that was setting their boots to the ground and actually going out there to fight, but actually the ones who dwelt in those countries, they felt the effects of it as well. You know, they felt resources depleting. You know, they felt, you know, the pain of, you know, the family members dying, you know, and stuff like that. Like you know, it's gonna be the same thing, but this time it's gonna be worse. You know, especially with all the different weapons that the Lord has put on the earth. You know, these nations got all type of shit. You know, that's gonna make the battle even more worse. You know, than you know what it was. You know, those first and second wars. You know, like the scriptures say, a time of trouble such as never before. This book of 2 Kings, chapter 6 and verse 25. And there was a great famine in Samaria, and behold, they besieged it, until an ass's head was sold for 80 pieces of silver. Alright, so just the head of an animal. You know, you could think about how much, you know, meat can be on that head, but for 50 shekels of silver, like right now, 50 shekels of silver is like what? Like, that's probably like 2,000 or something. I'm guessing, but like that's damn near a lot of money. But it says and they behold um they besieged it until the ass's head was sold for 80 pieces of silver, and the fourth part of a cab of dove's dung for 5 pieces of silver. So even shit was being sold for pieces of silver. That's how bad this famine is gonna be, and worse. It says second Ezra to the 16 verse 21. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. Right, because right now everything is so good, cheap. You can get, you know, gas prices are still around the $4 mark. That's to a certain extent, that's still cheap compared to, you know, was pretty much, this Edomite dude was warning what's gonna happen in the future. To oil, gas prices, energy prices, stuff like that. You know, compared to what he said was gonna happen in the future, that's gonna be, you know, what's going on right now. Even dealing with the inflation on this level is still cheap. You know, even though you see it rising every year. Everything, the prices of everything is going up. Over the years. You know what I mean? Like even the chips. I remember like the chips was like 99 cents. You know, but now like chips be like shit $1.25 and shit like that. Like you can't even. Candy bars used to be 99. Now they're like $1.50, $1.75 for some stores. Like we see these things rising. It says and even then shall evils grow upon the earth, and these things are growing. That's gradualism. The price is gradually going. The prices of things, even cheap things, that are not worth the price, that it was sold for, are going up. You know, it says and the prices are growing. It says evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, great confusion. That's the last one. I'm gonna close out. This is book Isaiah 13 verse 4. The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms and nations gathers together, and the ultimate gathering is gonna be when these nations is shooting ICBM nuclear missiles at each other. It says, the Lord, Yahweh Shah of hosts, muster of the hosts of the battle, right? So the Lord is the one conjuring up all these things and, putting all these things into place, to prepare the world for its coming, you know. But, pretty soon it's going to get to that point because we see like these gas prices and stuff like that has already risen to the point that it is now, and we know it's not going to do nothing but get worse. So, that's going to, once again, another piece of the puzzle playing a part in prophecy. But Lord's willingness is edifying. Thawadi Abashim Al Shah, forgive me the spirit of this lesson. Keep pushing, keep enduring. Like the scripture say, fight a good fight of faith. The Shemach with the Cleveland GMS branch. And till next time, say Shalom about ball.